The Mafia, also known as the Cosa Nostra, is an Italian word that means our thing or our family. It refers to a transnational criminal organization with Sicilian roots that engages in a wide variety of criminal activities, including murder, extortion, robbery, drug trafficking, and gambling. They are one of the oldest organized crime groups in the world, and they've been around since the 1800s. Now, if you find yourself wondering whether you might have mafia blood coursing through your veins, don't worry, because we're here to help. In this video, we'll be taking a look at 5 signs someone is in the mafia. So sit back, relax, and let's get into it. No one. They got some explaining to do. Imagine you're hosting a party, and all of a sudden, there's a knock at the door. You open it, and standing there are 3 men who introduce themselves as agents from the FBI. They politely ask if they can search the premises for any illegal substances. Although you don't mind, you're slightly confused because you didn't invite them. The FBI agents thank you and tell you they received a tip. If this happened to you, you should consider yourself lucky, because these men could have just as easily introduced themselves as agents from the Italian government instead. That's right, the FBI isn't the only one keeping tabs on potential mafia members. If you live in Italy, then you may have the Finmezia on your tail. This is the Italian police force, responsible for fighting the mafia. So if you're being followed by some suspiciously official-looking men, it might be worth asking yourself why. If you happen to have connections to the mafia, then these guys probably aren't just following you out of boredom. Number 2, their family has a long history. If you've been paying attention to gangster movies, then you might know how important family is to the mafia. When it comes to choosing members, it's common for the mafia to recruit relatives of existing members, so that they can continue to keep their criminal enterprise within the family. This way, they ensure that the people working for them are trustworthy and rat them out to the authorities. Now, this doesn't mean that everyone in the mafia has a relative who's also in the mafia. For example, if you married into the family, then your chances of being related to a mafia member increase. However, if you happen to find yourself in a situation where you were hanging around with a lot of mafia members and none of them seemed to want to accept you into the group, then it might be worth checking out your family tree. After all, if you're not related to any mafia members, then it would be pretty difficult to work your way into the group without being accepted first. And if you do find a connection, then it might be best to cut those ties before you find yourself caught up in something bigger than you could ever imagine. 3. They have connections everywhere. Another sign that someone might be involved with the mafia is if they seem to have connections everywhere. Mafia members often have their fingers in many pies, so to speak, and can be found in various industries. If you're hanging around someone who knows people in construction, entertainment, law enforcement, and politics, then they might be closer to the mafia than you think. Remember, the mafia is a very tight-knit group of people who rely on each other for support and protection. Because of this, it's common for them to have connections with other criminals, so that they can continue their criminal enterprise without being caught. So if you have a friend who seems to know everyone, then they might be more than just a social butterfly. They might actually be a mafia member trying to expand their network. 4, they don't talk about their job. If you have a friend who never talks about their job, then they might be hiding something big. Mafia members often keep their criminal activities a secret from those around them, especially their loved ones. Because of this, if you're hanging around someone who never discusses what they do for a living, then they might be trying to keep their mafia involvement under wraps. It's common for mafia members to hold legitimate jobs during the day, such as working in construction or as a waiter. However, at night they might moonlight as criminals. So if you have a friend who seems shady but claims to be an upstanding citizen, then it's possible they're hiding their mafia involvement from you. After all, being a member of the mafia is something that would definitely be frowned upon by most people. So it's understandable why they would try to keep it a secret. 5. They live above their means. Last, but certainly not least, if you have a friend who lives far above their means, then it's possible that they're involved with the mafia. Mafia members often make a lot of money through their criminal activities, even if they don't hold down traditional jobs. Because of this, if you're hanging around someone who seems to have more money than they should, then it's worth asking where it's coming from. Of course, they might just be good with money or come from a wealthy family. But if you suspect your friend is involved with the mafia, then this sign is a big red flag. Remember, The Mafia is a criminal organization, and its members often engage in illegal activities. So if you have a friend who seems too good to be true, then it's possible they're hiding their Mafia involvement from you. In conclusion, the Mafia is a powerful and dangerous criminal organization. If you're worried that you might be involved with them, then it's important to pay attention to the warning signs. Remember, the Mafia recruits relatives of existing members and has its fingers in many pies. So if you notice anyone with suspicious connections, it's worth investigating further. Additionally, Mafia members often keep their criminal activities a secret, so be wary of anyone who never talks about their job or how they make money. Finally, if you have a friend who lives far above their means, then they might be hiding their Mafia involvement from you. So if you're worried that you might be involved with the Mafia, then it's important to be aware of these warning signs and take the necessary precautions to protect yourself. But now it's time for you to make your voice heard. Comment below. Which of these signs do you think is the most important to look out for? We'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something new, and we'll see you next time.